gravity, so they could, even a walk became kind of a bouncing walk there.
No, Carrington, it was like being on the moon.
Skylab, the space station, the first space station, went into Earth orbit back in '73. It had these are solar collectors here, and also on this looks like a windmill up here. But those are arms with solar power. They don't have a cord to plug in up there, so they had to have solar power.
What you don't say.
They had to have solar power to make everything run. When you see broadcasts from the space labs, which they still do on the science channels, those broadcasts are broadcast from Earth by solar power. When they're up there, they can orient the craft where they get sun 24 hours a day. So they have power 24 hours a day. Now look at the size of the rockets. They get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Here's a deep space rocket with 2 boosters on the side.
Do you have a rocket? Like of your own?
My rocket's bigger than that one.
Do you have a rocket?
Okay, here's one of the rockets we talked about, released from a spacecraft. Some of them, when they were figuring out how to make rockets work better, they released these from a spacecraft. And here you have one that's just been released from the wing of a jet. They take them up real high, release the craft, and then the rocket fire, and away it goes. Of course, it outruns the plane like crazy. But,
How fast is that rocket?
that one they send into low Earth orbit.
Hi, Keaton.
Why are you so old?
Oh, look at the short guy.
Then came the ISS, International Space Station, and the Space Shuttle. The Space Shuttle, you've seen pictures of those taking off. There's a huge roar when all this happens because it's liquid oxygen that burns, and it really gives them a boost. You notice the big rocket in the middle is the one that after these boosters...
That's my rocket.
After these boosters run out of power, the boosters break off the main rocket. This shows them with the shuttle up at the International Space Station, and they have the cargo bay door open. It's a huge door. Just to give you an idea, in this area right inside here, they could fit a good-sized school bus into that area. It's that big. Of course, no point in taking a school bus into space, but...
Why? So what would they put in the
What would if I want to go to? Why would I want to go to space?
What would they put in the cargo bay?
That's where they carried supplies up to the space station. Some people lived up there for more than a year, needed lots of supplies.
A year.
They carried more solar panels. One time they carried the Hubble telescope in that bay. That's how it got into space. They carried it up in the shuttle in that bay. So those shuttles are extremely useful. They can take many, many pounds of things up into
Stop it.
and leave them at the space station. Yes.
How do they go to the restroom in the space?
That's not a bad question.
Just like let it float around. Say what?
Does it like the poop like float like in the like the air?
It has to not come back up to your chin.
There's no gravity, so I haven't even tried to imagine what happened.
So you,
Yeah.
so
What
you,
if I like went back up there like
so you go to the bathroom, just make a mess.
Go all over.
yeah.
Messed up.
So you go to the bathroom, just make a mess. Remind me not to have chili dogs before I go off into space. Oh, chili dogs sound so good, right?
Oh, no, you're starving.
I love chili
Dude, why'd
dogs.
you bring that up?
Okay, this is really
Thanks,
important to
Alex.
us now because
Man, I'm starving. Don't do it. I'm videotaping. My stomach's like eating and stuff.
we have an international partnership because our president decided not to have any
Why are you
more.
humping dude?
Please quit interrupting. He decided not to have shuttle flights anymore. Let's break this group up. You guys move around, away from this group here. It's ridiculous. Noisy. Come on, move. So now, if we want to, we are still sending people to work out in the International Space Station. Not long ago, I think it was 2 Russians and 1 American went to work there in one of their spacecraft. But we now have international partnerships. All these other companies. Japan has sent 1 guy to the space station, and they're doing a lot of research on things. One of the things they'd like to build in space would be to manufacture ball bearings. The reason being, on Earth, gravity, when you heat metal, it wants to sink down and form the shape of a drop, like a drop of water once it's melted. Out in space where there's no gravity, there wouldn't be anything pulling it out of shape. So it would be possible to manufacture real accurate bearings. Like you put a bicycle bearings made in space, you might could coast for a long ways on them because it's very friction free. In a car, in a rail car, on the railroads, whatever, it'd be really nice to have really round bearings. Well, there's no gravity when you get away.
I've been for 10
What we're
minutes.
saying is they can manufacture them without the gravity pulling them out.
I can't. I don't have internet on my phone right now, but I'll do when I get it.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, I can't hear him.
I hit him with my balls on his left side.
When they're trying to make something with metal in space, it's like it gets to be a liquid, stay as a liquid.
Metal isn't liquid.
Of course, it doesn't stay a liquid when it cools off.
I've never seen metal liquid.
I've been to a steel mill where they were pouring steel out of what they call an ingot, which is a container for steel. And they actually poured it, and it looked like a fire coming out of that because it was so red hot. The metal was red hot. But when it cooled off, it became a solid chunk of steel. And they were making pipe out of it.
Colder
When I
in
went,
space than it is down here, so it'll cool faster.
pardon me, Colorado Fuel and Iron in Pueblo, Colorado used to be.
Pueblo.
Pueblo.
They used to actually make pipe and chain link fence out of steel and stuff like that. But when it poured first out of the ovens, it was melted. But when it cools off, it gets very dense.
Hey, Alex,
Very
your
hard.
grandparents poured out of an oven at one point?
A good example of that.
They're making fun of me.
I'm not doing anything.
I asked you.
It was a joke. He wasn't actually. It was about my grandparents.
You're just talking constantly while I'm talking. Okay. Well, when you solder wires together, have you seen people soldering? Solder comes in a roll. It looks like wire that's easily bent because it has a lot of lead in it. It has about 35% tin and 65% lead in it. When you put it to a hot soldering iron, it melts and it'll actually drip. It'll become a puddle of metal. Then in about 20, 30 seconds from then, it'll cool back down and become real hard. So metals can be in form of liquid or solid metal. Okay, they're talking about space tourism. There's already been one tourist going to space, paid a ticket, got a ride into space from the Soviets because the Soviets were hurting for money. Ask you to move your chair over here. I meant move it over here and stay here. Okay, what's your name?
Haley?
Okay, thank you. There's already been one tourist going to space. He paid the Russians, I think it was like $3 million or something like that, to ride.
To ride what?
To ride one of the shuttle things that the Russians sent up to the International Space Station. That's an expensive ticket. They're envisioning that they're going to eventually have rides into space for tourists, but I don't know. It's really still going to be a bit risky, dangerous. But it would sure be fun to go up where it's weightless.
Weightless?
I can try to feature that in my mind, but it's kind of hard.
Just say whitelist.
Jeez, man. Dude, how close they are. The whitest kid of all is right next to me. How close they are.
Okay, here's an interesting thing, I think, because Who was Jules Verne? We talked about him, what he did.
Made the first rocket.
Hold on, let me look at my notes. I wrote that.
Jules Verne.
Or not.
First I think
He actually died in 1905. He died long before the space program.
Wait, he invented the...
Yeah.
Should go moon in the
Please be
background.
quiet. Thank you. He actually died in 1905. He was one of the science fiction kind of guys that described you could have holes in the ground here on Earth that were
rockets in the
had
whole ground.
rockets on the inside of them like our space missiles. Here's one of the things he said in his book, From Earth to the Moon. Listen how this comes close to what happened in the space program. If you're going to throw stuff away, let's wait till the end of class. You can wait that long. Okay, listen to this one. Those three men, who knows how you knew it'd be three men going to the moon. But those three men have carried into space all the resources of art, science, and industry. With that, one can do anything. Very visionary. Jules Verne in his book From Earth to the Moon. So he envisioned three guys going up to the moon like about 63 or 4 years before it actually happened. You guys thinking ahead, isn't it?
There was
No.
one guy that like predicted
Pretty
like the
accurate, some of
telephone.
the things.
Nostradamus. I think.
Like a giant flashlight. No, flashlight.
Okay, you guys have grown up during the space shuttle times because the space shuttle's been flying since '81. They've flown more than 120 missions. They've lost 2 of them in the process, but they've deployed satellites and sent all these things through the solar system. Science labs, many other things that are part of the International Space Station. That space shuttle, complex, versatile space launch system, but its flights will end, and this was written before the president ended it. What comes next? They want to go to Mars. One of the things they would like to do, you can see the rockets are going to only get bigger. Orbit the moon, then go to
Bigger and
Mars.
bigger. I like my rockets big.
For the next 50
like big
years, they want to do
I love big rockets.
implement
Explode
a
better.
sustainable program through the solar system and beyond. Here are the stages of the rockets that go up there. The nose cone, that'd be the part that goes down.
It has a nose.
The lunar lander would be the part that goes down to the moon when they go there. The departure stage right here, like part of it, the guy stayed up and went around the moon, and while the other 2 went down onto the moon. And then your huge rockets, including your 2 booster rockets that help it get up and then break off and fall back to Earth. So SRBs are solid rocket boosters. So huge things. You can see they do nothing but get bigger as they go to space. This is one of the first spacecraft that they put up that orbited the Earth and then came back. The bottom of it is a critical part because that's where the ceramic shield that kept it from burning up was. So when this thing went up, it was pointed in the direction like it is now. When it came back, it was pointed with that black part coming in first. So they kind of came in backwards.
Hate the
But
black
that was
parts.
the key. That was kind of the thing that saved them from actually frying in space. We'll see a picture of that in a minute flying.
Damn those
Here's
parts.
one of those spacecraft approaching the International Space Station. A real clear view of the Earth down there.
No.
I understand that they have cameras now from the space station that can take a picture and locate a golf ball on a golf course. That far away.
Where else
It's on the golf course, so you know where it is.
Oh,
What's what a golf ball be?
When do they get a ball in a sack?
Okay, this shows the
we
main
have 1
rocket,
minute.
and here are the 2 boosters breaking free, and they